Okay, we have just finished the Adventurous Quartet, the best 4 books that Stephanie Lawrence ever wrote. These 4 books. If you haven't seen these videos, please go check them out. We'll go through them in a minute. We're going to go back to the Cynsters now. We've finished all the groups, all the quartets and trilogies. So now we're going back to the Cynsters. But before we do that, I've done them for you in groups. I've done all the videos. So please go check all those out. And I did them in order in the groups. And this is the D. Louise book series. And I'm Christina Carrios, TINA. This is where we read books, talk about books, no special effects, no theme music. And if you could please hit the like and subscribe, I really, really appreciate it. People don't do that, I've noticed. Excuse me. Have you noticed, like, even if there's a video where millions and millions of people have viewed, the likes are like this. I figured, depending on the channel, the views are 1 to 10% of whatever the views were. So if it got 60,000 views, maybe 500 likes, maybe if they're lucky. My average view is 4 or 5. So my like is like 1 or 2. So if you could all hit the like button, I'd appreciate it. Now, this is the chronological order. There's one book that I do not agree with. Totally, because in the Cynster order, it's in a different order. And I didn't write it down, and it'll bite me when I get to it, but we'll get to it. So, this is the Cynsters chronological reading order. Now, we start with book 1, The Promise in a Kiss. What handsome man literally fell at her feet while she was walking through a moonlit convent courtyard? Helena knew he must have been there for a scandalous reason. Yet she kept his presence a secret from the questioning nuns, and her silence, the stranger, rewarded her with an enticing, unforgettable kiss. What Helena didn't know was that the wild Englishman was Sebastian Cynster, Duke of St. Ives. And his dashing, dangerous nobleman was her destiny. Okay. Then, I just said it. Lady Albalston's Christmas Goose. 3 years after being widowed, Therese Lady Albalston finally settles into her dower property of Hardington Manor in the village of Moseley. However, she questions whether life in a small village will generate sufficient interest to keep her amused during the months when she is not in London or visiting friends, but she will see. Lady Albalston is in all the Cynster books. She's a Helena friend and Honoria friend. And the guys listen to her. She's like a matriarch, and they listen to her. It's December 1810, and Therese is looking forward to her usual Christmas with her large brood as her younger daughter Celia's home. But then a carriage rolls up and disorders Celia's 3 oldest children. Their father has the mumps, and their mother has sent Jamie, George, and Lottie to spend Christmas with their grandmother in Little Moseley. Therese had never had to manage small children, not even her own. She assumes the children will keep themselves amused, but quickly learns that what amuses 3 inquisitive, curious, and confident youngsters isn't compatible with village peace. Just when it seems she'll have to invent some game herself, she and her children learn that with only 12 days to go before Christmas, the village's flock of geese have vanished. And I think this is Barnaby Adair comes into it and helps out. So they've got a little mystery to go here. All right. Then we get, I just had it, Captain Jack's woman. Naked guy on the cover. They meet in a clash of swords, drenched in the moonlight of Britain's rugged eastern coast. Captain Jack, his handsome features etched in silver and shadow, his powerful physique compelling Kit Kramer to surrender. He is her dream lover, come vividly alive, and his command of his smuggling gang is absolute. He is all-knowing gaze penetrates her disguise as the lad leader of a rival gang with frightening ease. With his punishment with kisses leaves her maidenly modest in tatters. Suddenly Kit finds she's only too delighted to explore with Jack the pleasures conventionally reserved for ladies, little knowing what dangerous forces she's unleashing. Uh, let's see. I don't think uh there's a few more. Oh, I don't know if I have um uh Latimer Vaudeville from uh next is Lady Albalston's Missing Christmas Carols. Theresa Albiston and her household are quietly delighted when her younger daughter's three children, Jamie, George, and Lottie, insist on returning to Theresa's house, Harrington Manor, in the village of Little Moseley to spend 3 weeks leading up to Christmas participating in the village traditional events. Then, out of the blue, one of Theresa's older granddaughters, Melissa, arrives on her doorstep. Her mother, Theresa's older daughter, begs Theresa to take Melissa in till the family gathering at Christmas. Otherwise, Melissa has nowhere to go. Despite having no experience dealing with moody, retreatant teenagers like Melissa, Theresa welcomes Melissa warmly. Younger children are happy to include their cousin in their plans, and despite their initial aloofness, Melissa discovers she's not too old to enjoy the simple delights of a Christmas village. The previous year, Theresa learned the trick to keeping her unexpected guests out of mischief. She casts around and discovers that the new organist, who plays superbly, has a strange failing. He requires the written music in front of him before he can play a piece, and the church book of Christmas carols has gone missing. Can her and the kids find it? Next book. Lady Albalston's Plum Pudding. Theresa, Lady Albiston, and her household again welcome the younger daughter's children, Jamie, George, and Lottie, plus their cousins Melissa and Mandy, all of whom have insisted on spending the 3 weeks leading up to Christmas at Theresa's house in Hartington Manor in the village of Little Moseley. The children are looking forward to the village's traditional events, and this year Theresa has arranged a new distraction. The plum pudding she and her staff are making are for the entire village. While cleaning the coins donated at the plum pudding's good luck token, the children discover that there aren't any coins of the realm. When consulted, Reverend Goldberg summons a friend, an archaeologist scholar from Oxford, who confirms the coins are Roman, raising the possibility of a Roman treasure buried somewhere near. Unfortunately, Professor Webster is facing a deadline and cannot assist in the search. But along with his niece, Anna, he will stay in the village, remaining available for consultation should the children and their helpers discover more treasure. And let's see, I don't know if I have that one. No, I don't have the next one. It's Lady Albalston's Christmas Intrigue. And then we go to the Bastion Club. That we did in order on my series. So please go check out the video if you want more details for The Lady Chosen. It's the first book in the Bastion Club. And we read all about it. The guys formed a club to help each other find wives. They have a separate lodging away from family and friends who will meddle in their business. Tristram Wemyss, Earl of Trentham, never expected he'd need to wed within a year or forfeit his inheritance. But he is not one to bow to the matchmaking mamas of the time. No, he will marry a lady of his own choosing, and the lady he chooses is the enchanting neighbor living with her family next door. Miss Lenora Carling has beauty, spirit, and passion. Unfortunately, matrimony is the last thing on her mind. Somebody's been breaking into her house continually, relentlessly. So Tristan and the guys and Lenora's family help solve the mystery of why these people want in her house so badly. And of course, there's a romance. I'm in it for the mystery. Book 2. A Gentleman's Honor. Alicia is living a deception. Desperation has caused the determination of a penniless lady to boldly launch her ravishing younger sister into the ton and have her make a spectacular match by masquerading as the widow Carrington. Alicia can act as the perfect chaperone, but fashionable ladies are not accused of murder. When Tony Blake discovers Alicia standing over a dead body in his godmother's garden, every instinct tells him that she is innocent. His connections allow him to take control of the investigation. His social prominence provides her public support, but it is more than honor that compels him to protect her. He will do anything to make her his bride and get her in his bed. And the next book in the Bastion Club, A Lady of His Own. Dear readers, welcome back to the Bastion Club as our next ex-secret hero meets his match in a wild ride of lost love refound, family secrets, spies, and murder and mayhem. Impatient to find his bride-to-be yet appalled by the damsel of the ton, Charles St. Austell leaps at the chance to help his ex-commander Desile by investigating rumors of spies operating via smuggling gangs near Charles' Cornwall home. The first thing Charles discovered is Lady Penelope Selborne, neighbor and ex-lover, marching through his house after midnight. Years ago, Charles and Penny shared one fabulous, passionate interlude, but ever since she's managed to avoid him. Now Charles uncovers a web of Selborne family secrets and spy network others are also searching for, and trapped in the middle is Penny, the lady who will be his soon. And book 4 in the Bastion Club, A Fine Passion. The last of the line, Jack Baron Wellfleet has fled London after nearly being compromised into marrying a dreadful female. Turning his back on the entire notion of marriage, he rides home to the estates he has not seen for years, determined to set in motion an alternative course of action. But then, in the lane before his gate, Jack rescues a startling, beautiful lady from a menacing, unmanageable horse. However, while he begins by taking command, the lady continues by taking it back. Lady Clarice Altward is no meek and mild miss. She is the very antithesis of the woolly-headed young ladies Jack has rejected as not for him. Clarice is delectable, attractive, beyond eligible, undeniably capable, and completely unforgettable. Why on earth is she in the country? She has her reasons. And book 5 in the Bastion Club. Daryl Viscount Paynion is in desperate need of a wife. Unmoved by the matchmaking herd, he seeks help from his aunt, who directs him to a lady who she vows is perfect for him. Dispatched to a country house party to look for the lady over, he discovers she's not swanning about among the guests, but her nose is buried in a book in a library. Phoebe Malison is tempted to distraction by Deville. By marrying him isn't part of his plan. Moved by an incident in her past, Phoebe has secret to cause she's committed. Unfortunately, telling Deville to go away doesn't work. And what secret is she keeping? Go watch my videos on these books. I've done videos on all of these books. Okay. now we are up to, so we did to distraction. Okay, now we start the oh, there's another Bastion Club. Sorry. I forgot that. Where is it? Wait a minute. Find passion. Certain. Alright. Beyond seduction. In the moment of recklessness, Gervais Gervais, 6th Earl of Crowhurst, swears he'll marry the next eligible lady to cross his path. Cloistered at his ancestral castle in Cornwall with nary a suitable woman for mouth, he never expects he'll have to fulfill his pledge, at least not until the London season begins. But then he meets his neighbor, the very appealing Madeline Caskine. And what are his sisters doing to encourage him to stay in town? And how did his sisters make him make that bet? Please go watch my video on all of this. Alright. So then, oh, another, The Edge of Desire. Naked guy on the cover. Christian Aldis, 6th Marquis of Dern, reads those words and his world turns upside down. Lady Letitia Randall is a woman like no other, and the day he left her behind to go fight for king and country was the most difficult day of his life. He never forgot the feel of her lips against his, but never expects to see her again. Yet now she seeks his help, and Christian knows he'll not resist her plea. Her husband is deceased, and her and Christian had a misunderstanding. And he misunderstood what she said. And she married this other guy. And now her brother is accused of murdering this other guy who turned out to be really evil. Can he save the brother-in-law? Oh! Come back here. Mastered by Love. The last one in the Bastion Club. As the mysterious leader of the Bastion Club, known as Daziel Royce Varsi, 10th Duke of Wilbeston, served his country for decades, facing dangers untold. But as the holder of one of England's most august noble titles, he must now take on the gravest duty of all, marriage. Yet the young ladies the grand dames would have him consider are predictably boring. Far more tempting is his castle's willful and delectable, determinedly aloof, chatteling Minerva Chesterton. Will he get her? Will he solve the problems? And we're going to see Daziel soon. Again. Alright. Now, to the man of the hour. Devil Cynster. Remember we talked about him way back in June. So please go check out that video. Remember, Devil did not tell Honoria who he was for the first 24 hours they were together. And when that lady comes, the lady that she was working for, helping her daughter do come-outs, and Miss Heidi Toity gets on her thing, and she's like, well, you won't be working for me anymore, Miss Honoria, blah, 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 you doing with it. And Devil turns around and goes, you will not speak to my future wife like that. And the woman just, And then he takes her home to meet Mother. And there's also a murder mystery, which gets solved in A Rake's Vow, which is Vane's book. Those Cynsters, please go check out the videos on these. I could go in forever, but we've got quite a few books to go through yet. So Devil's book, Vane's book with what I say, Patience Debington, and she becomes really good friends with Honoria. They become really good pals. And Scandal, Richard and the Lady of the Vale, Katrina. And A Rogue's Proposal. Demon Cynster has seen love bring his brethren to their knees, and he's vowed that he will not share their fate until he spies Felicity riding that horse. Secret Love. When a mysterious lady, her face hidden by a black veil, begs Gabriel Cynster for his help, he cannot refuse. And he does not know that she is his childhood nemesis. And you know, if you're teasing somebody to death or bugging somebody to death, you like them. When you're little kids, you like them. Lady Althea Morwellen knows Gabriel's intrigue, but despite the sparks that fly between them, they have never passed a civil moment together because they like each other. What happens when Gabriel finds out who she is? Please go watch my video on this. All About Love. Alistair Cynster, known to his intimates as Lucifer, rusticates in the country before the matchmaking skills of London's Mama become fully focused on him. The last unwed Cynster, but an escape to Devon leads him straight in his destiny to the irresistible form of Philandria talent. And Devil's Best Friend, Outside the Family, Chillingsworth. And I've always regretted I don't know why I did this, but I did this. Fate has made Giles Rawlings a man determined to control his destiny. He decided to wed a well-bred lady who will dutifully bear him sons. Yet a blind eye while he takes his pleasure elsewhere, until he meets Francesca. And he meets her, but he doesn't know it's her. He thinks it's her. Again, there's a misunderstanding there. You gotta check out my video on this book. Alright, then and we'll come back to them. What do I do with them? Alright. And we'll do these, we'll come back to these in a minute. I would read these two next. But the timeline here skips it and goes into the Black Cobra first. Oh no, that's afterwards. Alright, so we go. There's no special editing here. Right. There it is. The Untamed Bride. The battle-hardened, sinful, wealthy, completely unstoppable, and all-male 4 officers of the Crown fighting against a deadly foe known only as the Black Cobra. Book 1. And these all take place from March to December of 1822. I'm delighted to introduce you to the first book in my thrilling new project. The Black Cobra Quartet. The concept evolved from wondering what would happen to the soldiers who fought alongside the Cynsters' cousins in their cavalry troop at Waterloo. The answer is the 5 of them went to India to serve with the army of the East India Company under the direct command of the Governor General of India, who in 1822 gives all 5 men a mission. Do whatever it is to bring a fiendish villain known as the Black Cobra to justice. One of the 5 gives his life to secure the vital evidence. The other 4 swear to avenge him by getting that evidence back to England and into the hands of Royce Farcy, now known as the Duke of Wolverhampton, the one man powerful enough to bring down the Black Cobra. You didn't think you'd heard the last of Royce and the members of the Bastion Club or of their wives, did you? And of course, our latest heroes appeal to their comrades in arms, the Cynsters, for assistance too. That's book 1. Please go check out my videos. We've done videos in all these books. So, book 1, The Untamed Bride. And then book 2, The Elusive Bride. Dear Diary, I've waited so long and will admit that I have fallen in the habit of imagining it would never happen. Now that it might have, I find myself rather curious. Is this what Annie's sisters meant when they said I would simply know? Simply my stomach and my nerves proved to be singularly sensitive to Major Hamilton's nearness. I met a guy. Ooh, I'm in love. But they've got to follow their path. She chases him down. She follows him out of town. And she catches up to him. She better get there before the Black Cobra does. And book 3, The Brazen Bride. And we've done all these in videos. So please go check them all out. His face, all clean, angular lines and sculpted planes, embodied the essence of masculine beauty. There was not a soft note anywhere. Combined with the muscled hardness of his body, the promised virility and passion of secret unadorned. Ooh! She made him shiver. She shivered when she saw him. But they've got to get the Black Cobra first. They've got to get their mission. And, book 4, The Reckless Bride. The end of the Black Cobra. The crescendo of the Black Cobra. She tried to suck in a breath, but her lungs had constricted. By sheer force of will, she kept her feet moving and managed to climb the steps into the carriage. She released her hand, and her senses snapped back into focus. A second later, the carriage tipped as Carstairs climbed in. He hesitated, then sat alongside her, leaving the place beside Rose for Hassan. Carstairs' shoulders brushed hers as he settled, and she couldn't breathe. She was so alive with passion. But we've got to survive the Black Cobra first. We've got to get through it. And this is the crescendo book for the Black Cobra. Please go check out the video for that. Okay. Then we do a bridge book. The Lady Risks All. Neville Roscoe, notorious and enigmatic, lives resolutely outside society, bound only by his own code of honor until challenged by his desire for one woman he cannot have. Miranda Clifford is a lady imprisoned by rigid respectability until tempted by passion beyond her to deny. And we see these people again when we start out the series that we just finished. Like I said in my other videos, these are the best 4 books she ever wrote. She hasn't written anything like this since or before. These are the best books that Stephanie Lawrence ever wrote. The Lady's Command, we just did these. Please go check out the videos for these. We just read these. Declan Frobisher chose Lady Edwina Delbraith as his wife, scion of a bold seafaring dynasty. He's accustomed to getting his way. Edwina would be the woman who would grace his arm, warm his bed, and remain safely at home when he returned to sea. But once the knot was tied, Declan discovers Edwina is unconventional and strong-willed, and she's determined to go with him to Freetown to help with the mission. And they do their mission and they return. And the mission continues with Captain Robert Frobisher decides that establishing a home with Hearth and wife should be his next challenge. But when an urgent summons arrive, Robert puts his wishes aside and sets sail to Freetown. And when he's in Freetown, he meets Eileen Hopkins, who is also determined to find what happened to her brother. And they continue on that mission. And then we locate the slavers' camp in this book with Captain Caleb Frobisher and Catherine Fortescue. She's one of the people being held in the... And she's related to the other lady. Or actually, she's related to this lady. And then, of course, the grand crescendo of our rescue. Please go check out the video last week of the reading for this. Lord of the Privateers. These are the 4 best books she's ever written. I can't talk about them enough. Alright, then after that, we do go back to the Cynsters. Like I said, I usually read these directly after the others because it's a set. It's the same family. But then you get the 2 twins, Amanda and Amelia. Amelia Cynster hears these words from the handsome, enigmatic Lucian Ashford and is stunned. It is near dawn, and she's risked scandal by lying in wait for him just outside his London house. But he agrees to her outrageous marriage proposal just prior to passing out at her feet. And then she's got to get the butler and confess to the butler because she needs his help to pick him up off the floor. And the other twin. After spending years in the glittering ballrooms of the town, Amanda Cynster is utterly bored by the current crop of colorless suitors. So she goes underground to the gambling areas where the men who want to avoid the marriage smart go for their entertainment. And she runs into the Earl of Dexter. So check this one out. Okay, so then after those Cynsters, we get this book we will do on next week in our reading series. This is the book we're going to read next week. The Ideal Bride. Michael N. Strotherby Weatherby is a rising member of Parliament, a man destined for power, artistic elegance, and effortless charming. He is just arrogant enough to capture the interest of the ladies of the time, and with his connections to the wealthy and influential Cynster family, his sister is married to Devil Cynster, the Duke of St. Ives. His future appears assured, except that Michael lacks the single most important element of success, a wife. Political pressure sends him searching for his ideal bride, a gently bred Malibu young lady, preferably one with political background. Michael discovers such a paragon, but finds a formidable obstacle in his path, the young lady's beautiful, strong-minded aunt, Caroline Sutcliffe. One of London's foremost diplomatic hostesses, Carol has style and status, but having lived through an unhappy political marriage, wants nothing of the sort for her niece, who has already lost her heart to another. So, what's gonna happen? So, this is next week's book. Let me just write this down. So, I'll start with this one. That's next week's book. And it will be followed by Temptation and Surrender. Handsome, wealthy, and well-born Jonas Talent has everything a gentleman needs to enjoy London society to the fullest. And he's played his cards until dawn, flirted with eligible young ladies, and made love to some ineligible ones. But now he's restless and bored with the mindless frivolity and careless pleasure. So it's with a sense of relief that he takes the reins of the family's estate in rural Devon. His most pressing need is to hire a new manager for the inn, the center of the village life. Such a small task, yet he discovers few decent applicants are willing to live in a quiet country backwater. Then genteel but impoverished Miss Emily Beauregard replies for the position. Jonah's first response is no, and then he later agrees to give her a trial run, and she proves to be fantastic. So this is the book we'll be reading in 2 weeks. Oh, sorry about that. So let me just put... technically, that is book 12 of the Cynsters. It's longer than that in the chronological order. This is the list we're following. Okay. After Temptation and Surrender, we get the Viscount to the rescue. Viscount Breckenridge to the rescue. Determined to hunt down her very own hero, one who will sweep her off her feet and into wedded bliss, and despairing of finding him in London's staid ballrooms, Heather Cynster steps out of her safe world and boldly attends a racy soiree. But her promising hunt is ruined by the supremely interfering Viscount Breckenridge, who whisks her out of a scandal and straight into danger. When a mysterious enemy seizes her, bundles her into a coach, and conveys her out of London, it's up to the Viscount Breckenridge to save her. And The Pursuit of Eliza Cynster is the second book in this series. Brazenly kidnapped from her sister Heather's engagement ball, Eliza Cynster is spirited north to Edinburgh. Desperate and determined to escape, she seizes upon the first possible champion who happens along, gentleman scholar Jeremy Carling. And she knows Jeremy from her childhood. And this will be the next book we'll be reading after that. So that's 4 weeks from now. The Capture of the Earl of Glenclay. The Capture of the Earl of Glenclay. Headstrong Angelica Cynster is certain she'll recognize her fated husband at first sight, and when her eyes meet those of mysterious nobleman, she knows beyond a doubt that he's the one. But her heart is soon pounding for an entirely different reason when her hero abducts her. The 8th Earl of Glenclay has no choice but to kidnap Angelica, the one sinister sister with whom he hadn't wanted to tangle. But to save his castle and clan, he must. Alright. The Truth About Love. Gerard Demington. He's Vane's brother-in-law. Gerard Demington is one of the chosen few gentlemen who've learned their social and amorous skills at the feet of the masters. Handsome and wealthy protege and brother-in-law of Vane Cynster, Gerard is part of the charmed Cynster family circle, one of the most eligible gentlemen in the ton. Gerard is consistently besieged by offers from London, most sought-after beauties, but as the ton's foremost artistic lion, there's only one offer he wants to accept: the chance to paint the fantastical but seldom seen gardens of elusive Lord Treddleston's Helborn. The chance to stand before Gerard, but to grasp it, he must fulfill Lord Treddleston's demand that he also create an honest portrait of the man's daughter. Do we fall in love by painting the portrait? Do we? Do we? Okay. And what price is love? The next one. There is nothing more fascinating than a darkly handsome rake, especially one as controlled and elusive as Dylan Canston, protege of Demon Cynster. Despite his dangerous air, Dylan is a man of sterling reputation, but it wasn't always so. Years ago, an illicit chain turned into a nefarious swindle. and only with the help of his cousin Felicity and her husband Demon saved Dylan. So, what's gonna happen with him now? We'll read this book in a couple more weeks. And The Taste of Innocence. For no gentleman is more true than Charles Morwell, the 8th Earl of Meredith. Although he's seen the many successful unions of his Cynster connections, he has also watched his father's obsession nearly destroy their family and fortune. A mistake Charles will not repeat, but as Lord Meredith, he must marry, so he offers for Sarah, the daughter of his neighbors Lord and Lady Cunningham. She's intelligent enough to run his social life, beautiful enough to grace his arm, and old enough to know the value of his offer. But she may want love. We'll see what that's going on in a couple weeks. Hero Comes Back it's in the chronological order. It's Lost and Found is the story, and it's in the anthology here. It's also sold as a separate on Amazon. I was looking at it the other day. The Perfect Lover. Never let it be said that a Cynster male can't face up to the one unassailable truth. A successful marriage gives life its fullest meaning. To all of English society, Simon Frederick Cynster has a perfect life, one of enormous wealth and impeccable social status. His lean handsomeness turns the heads of knave debutantes, while his sensual allure ensures he'll never lack more sophisticated partners for a night or pleasure. Until he meets his potential bride. And Where the Heart Leads. Penelope Ashford, Portia's Cynster's younger sister, has grown up with every advantage, wealth, position, and beauty. Yet Penelope is anything but a pretty face in a satin gown. But now her charges are mysteriously disappearing, and desperate for help, she goes after Barnaby Adair. And we met Barnaby in Lady Obelstone's books. And we might just... I think we should put these as done. The I don't think I have the particular case of Lord Finbury's. Oh, I do have it. The particular case of Lord Finbury's diamonds, and this is Penelope Adair, wife and partner of sleuth Barnaby Adair, is so hugely pregnant she cannot even waddle. When Barnaby is summoned to Inspector Stokes of Scotland Yard investigating the violent murder of a gentleman at a hearth party, Penelope, frustrated that she cannot participate, insists that she and Griselda, Stokes' wife, be kept informed of their husband's discoveries. And then she fell. The only thing more troublesome than a Cynster man is a Cynster lady who believes love is not her destiny. Famously known as in London society as the matchbreaker, Henrietta's uncanny skill lies in preventing ill-fated nuptials until she meets James Gossip. The Taming of Ryder Sherbrooke. The Honorable Miss Mary Cynster has always gets what she wants. As the last onward Cynster of a generation, she's determined to remain in charge of her life and of the man she will marry. At the very bottom of her list of potential husbands is Ryder Kavanaugh, the darling and devastating Marquis of Ravensthorne, an overwhelming and utterly unmanageable lion of the ton. The masterful Mr. Montague. Ah, shoot, I just dropped a book. Montague has devoted his life to managing the wealth of London's elite, but at a huge cost, a family of his own. Then the enticing Miss Violet Matcham seeks his help, and they fall in love. What I drop? Okay. Uh, by Winter's Light. It's frosty December, and six Cynster families come together at a snowbound Caspian manor with members of their households to celebrate the season in true Cynster fashion. The festive occasion brings together Daniel Crosby, tutor to Lucifer Cynster's sons, and Claire Meadows, widow and governess to Gabriel Cynster's daughters, Daniel and Claire, have met before, and embers of unexpected passion smolder between them. The Curious Case of Latimer Shoes is next. We're just going to go through these now. Loving Rose. I don't have the redemption of Malcolm Sinclair, but I do have the confounding case of Carlsbrook Emeralds, the murder at Mandeville Hall, the designs of Lord Randolph, Lord Randolph Kavanaugh is loyal and devoted, but only to family. To the rest of the world, he's aloof and untouchable until he meets Felicia Throgmorton. The Pursuits of Lord Kit. One of the most eligible bachelors in town, Lord Christopher Kit Kavanaugh, has discovered his true path, and it doesn't include the expected society marriage. Kit is all business and chosen the bustling port of Bristol to launch his passion to Kavanaugh yachts. And then he meets Sylvia Buckleberry. And I think that's it. I don't have. Oh, okay, I do have. The Beguilement of Lady Eustace Kavanagh's. A lady with a passion for music and maestro challenges she's in pursuit of a worthy cause find themselves battling villains both past and present. The Tempting of Thomas Carrack. Thomas Carrack is determined to make his own life in the bustling port city of Glasgow, far from the demands of the Carrack clan, eventually with an appropriate wife on his arm. But disturbing events on his family estate force Thomas to return to the Scottish countryside, where he is forced to ask for help from the last woman he wants to face, Lucille Cynster. A Match for Marcus Cynster. Marcus Cynster is waiting for fate to come calling. He knows his destiny lies near his home in Scotland, but what will it be? Who is his fated bride? And if he believes it won't revive with Navira, but it ends up being with Navira. And I think that's it. The obsessions. Uh, no, I don't have the obsessions of Lord Godfrey. The lady by his side. The I shall be honest with you. The woman that wrote those Buccaneer adventure books, and I said they were the absolute best books she ever wrote. This is the worst book she ever wrote. We waited literally 20 years for this book. 20 years. I was grateful to be alive. I was grateful the author was still alive to write it. And it was the worst book, and I had nightmares over it. We vented on Facebook for weeks and on a couple of different websites. Everybody agreed it was the worst book she ever wrote. The worst book. And it was the most expensive. Well, considering the fact that she'd been doing these, and the publisher did this, and it's the number one worst book she ever wrote. And I was so happy to see it, but devastated that it was just so awful. It's the kid's book. It's Devil's Son's book. And it's just, he marries Chillingworth's daughter. And an irresistible alliance. Who's this? Devil's other kid, I think. No, this is Michael Cynster. That's the second. And the greatest challenge of them all is the kids. And a conquest impossible to resist. And inevitable fall of Christopher Cynster. And I don't have the... Oh, yes, I do. The Games Lovers Play. And a conquest impossible to resist. Do I have 2 copies of this? I have 2 copies of the same book. And then I have some odds and ends here. I think that's the end of the Cynsters. I don't know if I'm going to do it anymore. I'll have to think about it if I'll come back to it next week or not. Because I would like to go on to something else, but we'll see what happens. I may finish the family Cynsters, so I might do this. The Legend of Nimue Hall. These are some odds and ends standalones. Oh, this is another Cynsters. Oh, wait a minute. This is the paperback. We did the hardcover. It's another one I have 2 copies of. Who knew? Uh, Rogues Reform and A Lady of Expectations. These are all standalones. The the Reasons for Marriage. Secrets of a Perfect Night. And this has the short story in it. Scandalous Lord Dear, Dere. A Comfortable Wife. Impetuous Innocence. And Four in Hand. And I just found this one the other day. This has this one. That's what the story is in this here. That one. And that's the end. Those are all my Cynster books. Do I have enough of them? This video might take 2 or 3 days to hook up. I didn't expect it to go so long. But what do you think? Should we continue? I think I might continue a couple. I'm going to finish the Cynsters. I won't do the rest of them. But I will go through the Cynsters themselves, the Cynster family. Up into the kids. I think I'll do that. And then I'm going to call it quits. I'm not going to do these other, the extended families. I'm not going to do the OSBALDESTONEs. I'm not going to do any of those. So we'll just call it quits after that. Have a good day.